Yeah, I'll be honest. I was up till 4:30 in the morning applying transfers and painting the bases of the miniatures just to have those bonus 10 points for a fully painted army. And I was going on like less than 3 hours sleep. So here we go. Hello, welcome to the Hobby Corner. My name's Kev. We are live on Twitch Monday, Wednesday and Friday from 8:30 p.m. Today I want to have a little talk about the tournament that was run by IDICBeer, Necrons and more. Mr. Nick, he was running it. It's called the Dominion Tournament, and it was the second year he'd done it. And it was good. It was 1,000 points, doubles in, because it was split into 2 rounds. 2 people were randomly picked to be on a singles table, and then you had 3 other tables with pairs duke it out. The first one was just a simple control objectives thing, and it was quite easy to play, and it was a good one to ease into to get used to the rules, because I hadn't played since 6. And I played against Bill Morloc of Morloc 40k, I think it's called, or something like that. I'm terrible with names, so I do apologise, but I'll post all the names and the links in the description below. And then that was good. He had some beautifully painted up successor chapter of the Dark Angels. Can't remember what it was, and it was quite a dirty list. He had a 10-man unit of Terminators. Half of them were with thunder hammers and shields, and the other half had all their ranged weapons and like a command in there as well, like banner and everything. It was mad. And he had a 10-man Hellblaster squad with Azrael and an Apothecary. Now you got to remember, Hellblasters are pretty dirty. It's very, very dirty. So he was using Overwatch on them. Every time he was doing supercharge every single time. Every time one dies, of course, they get to pop off a shot as well. He had an Apothecary in there, so every turn he could bring one back, and usually it was the one that killed itself. And then he had Azrael in there. That was dirty. So that was a tough unit to chew through, though. When my Gilliman finally caught up to that unit, he did chew through that unit in one go, as you'd expect. And then it took him another turn to take Azrael out, because of course he's a character, can't target the character from the unit, so I had to wipe out the unit first before I could hit him. And it was good, you know, that was right. We ended up on the draw as well. Ooh, it's hot. Thank you very much. A cup of tea. So no, yeah, that was a great game. Me and Bill had a great laugh. We finished a lot earlier than everyone else, even though I was late. It wouldn't be me if I wasn't late, right? But it went really well. And then we worked out the points. It was a draw, to both of our surprise. So that was all right. Then came round 2. Draw was done. 2 Necron players, Nick, and there was another one. I do apologise about the names. I will put it on screen. They got drawn for the singles. They finished super fast. I was paired up with a chap from... My God, I am so shit at this, man. I'm so shit at names. I just forget everyone's names. Yeah, you lot. I'm more important. Right, Carl, that was it. Carl's. Now his channel is Planet 40k. I mean, I knew it had 40k in it, but anyway, it was Planet 40k. It was great. You know, we were playing against Bill, and we were playing against Baldermort as well. I mean, stellar chap, by the way. If you ever get the pleasure to meet him in real life, he's awesome. Though he likes to keep his anonymity, which is fair. He wants to keep his work separate from his personal life, but I'm gonna do the most bargain bucket pixelation, like slightly off and everything. He's so enthusiastic, and he's such a characterful person. Like, I'd love to hang out with him more. But I had a real good game, even though I was playing against someone I already played against, you know, Bill from the first go. It felt different because, of course, Baldermort had 2 tanks. He had like an onslaught tank, and yeah, an onslaught repulsor tank, and then he had the smaller tank. He had 5 Terminators as well, and then he had also a Redemptor Dreadnought, and he had a tech priest as well, so he could heal up his tank if it got hurt. And I think he had a 5-man, yeah, he had a 5-man intercessor squad as well, just holding objectives to make them sticky. And that's a great rule actually, making intercessor squad be able to just spend 1 turn on an objective and then it's yours until it gets taken by someone else. So you can take it, sit on it for a turn and run off and try and take something else or block something else, and that's it. There's no issues then. It was the game where you create objectives, so you have a no man's land, you have your own objective which you got to stop the enemy from controlling, but you get no points for controlling it. And then in no man's land is where you can create an objective, and by doing, you do that by basically sacrificing a squad or a unit to not be able to do anything that turn. They just stand there, and you put an objective marker underneath them, and then next turn you score 5 points for it. Fair enough. So I was with Planet 40k and his Necrons. He was running a disrupting list. It was very much for getting behind enemy lines and scoring points. It had no heavy hitters in it whatsoever, so nothing that could really be anti-armor, you know. And I didn't really have anything anti-armor either. I had 3 aggressors, I had 3 stern guard, which, you know, more for dealing with infantry. I had an intercessor squad with an ancient, but they sat at the back stopping anyone from deep striking, like, you know, a big chunky 10-man unit of Terminators, for instance. I had Guilliman and I had 3 suppressors, and I think that was it. Oh, and I had a squad of 5 assault intercessors, which were just there to run ahead, take all the fire. They were a sacrificial unit. I wasn't looking to get them in actual combat because there's no way you can make it, even with all the terrain in the way, there was no way you could still make it to the enemy in time. And so the chap I was playing with, he was very much like, oh, we're fucked, right? We got nothing to take out this tank, we got nothing to take out these dreadnoughts except Guilliman that I was running, and we're gonna really struggle. And I just kept saying to him, have faith, don't worry, we'll screen ourselves in layers. I know they got a lot of shooting, especially from the onslaught tank, but we just hold back, we create our objectives out of sight, and we'll just accumulate the points like that, and then we will see what cards we draw and just play it like that. And I'll tell you what, we ran out of time, so we called it at the end of turn 3, and we were actually winning by points. Not many, only a few, but we were dead surprised by that. I couldn't get Guilliman near the tank because it kept running away, rightly so. I did a heroic intervention with him into the 10-man Terminator squad. Only took out 1 because he lost his charge bonus because he was running in. I should have waited a turn. The Stern Guard did more damage than Guilliman did, actually, which was a shame. But imagine this. I'm using the fist, which is 7 attacks, strength 14. It's 2s to wound. I get 5 wounds, and I got Oath of Moments. I'm re-rolling as well, but he's got 4 up invulnerable saves on them because the storm shields and then the Terminator armor. So he saved every single one except 1. I almost cried. And then they just started chipping away at him, and he had already had half of his health taken away by the tank just blasting everything it had at him. It only could do like 4 damage in the end, but I was every single gun hounding at him for a whole turn. So, you know, I thought that was alright. He did get taken out finally by the Terminators, and on his resurrection go, because he gets a free roll, and if you roll a 3 or plus, he gets back up with half his wounds. Roll a 1, just typical. But at the end we had to do some math we had to do some math hammer for the remainder 2 turns and be super realistic and super critical about what we could do, especially because Guilliman was gone, my Stern Guard was gone, my Assault Intercessors, Suppressors, everything was gone except my Ancient and my unit of Intercessors, which were moving on to the objectives that were hidden behind everything because they made our home thing sticky, and they had also stopped the Terminators from being able to deep stroke behind the lines, so they were already in the middle of the field. So we didn't have to worry about holding back anymore. And he was throwing his scabs forward, but those Terminators would have chewed for him no problem. So we worked it all out. We drew out the objective cards to see which ones we would have been able to achieve in those turns going forward. And we worked out the points, and it came to 92 points each. So another draw. So that was amazing. 2 draws. First time I ever played a game since 6th edition that wasn't from a magazine and against myself. So, and yeah, I'll be honest, I was up till 4:30 in the morning applying transfers and painting the bases of the miniatures just to have those bonus 10 points for a fully painted army. And I was going on like less than 3 hours sleep. And I hadn't even looked at the rules. I didn't even look at the rules. I just turned up. I just had my data sheets, which I didn't even really have much of a plan. I knew that I'd have the Ancient and the Intercessors together just to hold an objective, right? And then have some cool bits together, you know, not even like big units, the little 3-man units, but they look cool. And I was running Guilliman with the Stern Guard, you know, they were just basically extra wounds for him, but they're 3 wounds each, and they got a invulnerable save as well, thanks to their storm shields. So it was worth having them as a little meat grinder. But because he's got lone operative, he's not stuck in that unit like other characters would be. He can flow from that unit to another unit. So, you know, anyone is his bodyguard as long as he's close enough. And I took Guilliman because he does wreck. You choose either his sword or his fist, and his sword does 14 attacks. Strength 7. It's crazy. 2 damage each as well. That's madness, right? As opposed to the fist that does 7, strength 14, and it does 4 damage, which is perfect for taking out Terminators because they're 4 damage, they're 4 wounds each, aren't they? So each time they failed a save, it was just basically one just turned into mist. Just didn't happen enough. But no, that was a great game. Baldermort was amazing, Bill was amazing, and Carl was amazing, and yeah, we just had a great time. And then we had the awards after that. During the interval between the 2 rounds, we did have our armies out on display for best painted / converted / inspiration sort of thing. And well, Bill won by a mile because it was so beautifully painted. It was like the most beautiful like shades of purple, like, you know, with the beautiful gradient from the darker to the lighter. Everything was nice and neat. The banner looked fantastic. Wow. So, you know, I did get a few compliments for my army, especially because it was painted in such a rush. And I had to keep stopping everyone saying, look, these are only half painted. I hadn't even done the eye lenses. I just contrast painted a lot of the bits and pieces on it. It's terrible, but, you know, praise is well accepted where it's given. So thank you, everyone. And I want to do a big shout out to Nick for running the event, and Richard as well. They both did fantastic. The prizes were amazing. I'd love to go again next year, definitely, and I will actually put some work into it. But yeah, I think I'll leave it there. I'll put all the links in the description below for all the channels of all the people who were there, but each one of them are absolutely amazing people. We all had a good chat, and it was nice to meet some of them in real life instead of just online or by internet interview, so to speak. So yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Now luckily we were going to play pairs and ended up playing singles, but I had pairs prizes because we did have a few joint places.
Ooh.
Tell them why!
The wooden spoon!
Oh, well done. Well earned. Well earned.
Stinky boys!
In 6th place we have Kevin.
Oh!
In 4th place we have Mr. Planet 40K. In 3rd place it is Jack with his neck crumbs. Second place we have Mr. Baldermort. It's a bit of a surprise.
Yeah. Was it?
But with a whopping 195 points.
Jesus!
It was James. Who knows Crackerjack?
Yeah!
Yeah. So that's yours.
Oh, thank you very much.
So we did best army, not necessarily best painted, but best army. And we had a winner, obviously. A clear winner.
I think we know. I think we know.
Yeah. However, the runner-up was Richie with his sisters. And then we have a winner of best army.